All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yep.
And you're looking to really get a handle on his core principles,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to building wealth and just generally, improving your financial literacy.
Yeah, and I think this book is really great for that. It's a really interesting approach.
And it's been so popular for so long.
It has, yeah. It's really, I think he uses his own life as a framework for these lessons,
Right?
which is really interesting. He contrasts the mindsets of his own father, the poor dad, with his best friend's dad, the rich dad.
Yes, that two dads concept, right? It's like
Yeah.
the whole foundation of the book. And we've got
Yeah.
Kiyosaki's biological father representing that more traditional path, right? You know, get a good education, get a secure job, and then you've got that steady paycheck.
Exactly. And then rich dad comes in and just kind of throws all that out the window.
Right.
Yeah, he's all about understanding how money works and entrepreneurship, making money work for you.
Not the other way around. Exactly. It's like he's saying, forget the cubicle. There's a whole other game being played out there. And Kiyosaki really emphasizes how those two contrasting views really shaped his own financial journey.
Oh, absolutely. And he uses all these stories from his childhood to show us how rich dad taught him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that story where 9-year-old Kiyosaki is working for rich dad
Yeah.
for like 10 cents an hour.
Oh, yeah. I remember thinking, what kid would sign up for that?
Right. It's
Oh.
crazy. But it really wasn't about the money.
Yeah, right.
It was about the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Rich dad designed that whole experience.
To teach him about the rat race.
Exactly. The rat race.
And I think we've all felt stuck in that at some point in our lives.
We have for sure.
That feeling of just, working for a paycheck, paying your bills, maybe racking up some debt, but you never quite get ahead.
Yeah. And you feel like you're just running and running, but you're not really going anywhere.
Exactly. Rich Dad wanted to show Kiyosaki that there's a difference between working for money and having your money work for you. And so it's like, instead of just being a hamster on the wheel, you want to build something that spins for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so that brings us to, I think, one of the most powerful ideas in this book.
Okay.
This whole concept of assets versus liabilities.
Yes, such a simple but powerful idea.
And he just breaks it down so simply, assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take money out.
Right.
So it's not just about how much money you make.
Exactly.
It's about where that money goes.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm seeing the light bulbs go off over my head now.
Good.
So Rich Dad wanted Kiyosaki to see that the wealthy really focus on building up those assets,
Mhm.
the things that generate income, while the rat race kind of keeps you stuck in this cycle of just earning to cover those liabilities,
Yes.
the things that drain your cash.
Right. It's like you have a leaky bucket.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep pouring money in, but if you don't fix those leaks, you're never going to fill it up.
Right. And so to drive this point home, Kiyosaki uses some really interesting examples in the book.
Yeah. What are some that stood out to you?
Well, I remember he even challenges this traditional idea of a house as an asset.
Oh, yeah.
He
Interesting.
says, sure, a house can be an asset, but if it's eating up your cash flow every month with a mortgage payment, property taxes, repairs, it might actually be acting more like a liability.
Right.
So you're telling me my dream home could actually be holding me back financially?
It's a possibility.
Wow, that is mind-blowing.
Yeah. It really makes you rethink those traditional definitions of wealth and success.
It really does.
So to illustrate this even further, he talks about Ray Kroc.
The McDonald's guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most people saw him as just a fast food mogul.
Right.
But Kiyosaki highlights that Kroc was really strategically building this real estate empire.
By owning the land underneath the McDonald's.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
So he was playing a different game altogether.
Right.
It wasn't just about burgers and fries. It was about the underlying asset.
So it's like what we were talking about earlier about assets and liabilities. He was thinking long term.
Yeah.
Okay, so this kind of brings us to another important point that Rich Dad emphasized minding your own business.
Right.
But I don't think he necessarily means starting a company here.
No, not necessarily.
So it's more about building up your own asset column, as Kiyosaki calls it.
Okay.
Whether it's through investments, real estate, anything that generates income without you trading your time for it directly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rich Dad wanted Kiyosaki to understand that real wealth comes from building a system where your money is working for you, not the other way around.
Exactly.
So are you saying we all need to become like real estate tycoons?
No, not necessarily. But it's about recognizing those opportunities to build assets that generate income.
Yeah.
It could be starting a side hustle, investing in the stock market, even creating and selling online courses.
Okay.
The key is to shift your mindset from working for money to having your money work for you.
Okay, so I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. It's not just about learning to budget or save money. It's about really understanding the fundamental principles of how wealth is built.
Ex-
And a big part of that is, like you said, minding your own business.
Taking ownership of your financial future and building a system that supports your goals.
Wow, that's a powerful idea. But let's be honest, taking control of our finances can feel daunting.
It can.
So where do we even begin?
Well, one crucial lesson that Rich Dad instilled in Kiyosaki was the importance of overcoming fear, especially the fear of losing money.
Oh, man. That's something that really resonated with me in the book.
Okay.
It made me think about how often fear holds us back, you know?
It's a,
Especially when it comes to finances. And maybe that's where financial literacy comes in. The more we understand about money, the less we have to fear.
exactly.
Right.
Rich Dad even uses a pretty dramatic example to illustrate this.
Okay.
He talks about the soldiers at the Alamo
Wow. Okay.
making a stand despite knowing that the odds were stacked against them.
Right.
Now, he wasn't advocating reckless risk-taking or anything,
Right.
but he was highlighting the importance of courage and, taking calculated risks.
I never thought I'd be drawing financial lessons from the Alamo.
Right. Powerful analogy, though.
It is, yeah. Sometimes you just have to be willing to take a stand, even if it means facing potential losses.
Right.
And that brings us to another key lesson from Rich Dad, the importance of financial literacy.
Yes.
So it's not enough to just work hard and save money. We need to understand the rules of the game.
We do.
Okay.
And, Kiyosaki is very critical of traditional education systems.
Mm-hmm.
He argues that they just focus too much on preparing people for jobs and not enough on equipping them with the financial knowledge and skills they need to thrive in the real world.
Right.
So we need to take ownership of our own financial education.
Okay, so Rich Dad believed that everyone has the potential to achieve financial freedom, but it requires a shift in mindset
Yes.
and a commitment to continuous learning.
Right.
And, that really resonates with what this show is all about. We're
Yeah.
not just summarizing a book. We're giving you the tools to explore these ideas further and take action.
Yeah. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's packed with thought-provoking insights,
Yeah.
but it's really just the beginning. The real journey starts when we apply these principles to our own lives.
Exactly.
So one of the big things we need to remember on this journey is understanding how to make your money work for you.
Right.
Rich Dad?
He just keeps saying, it's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep
Uh-huh.
and how that money is put to work.
Right. It's like you're building this financial engine that can generate income even when you're not actively working,
Exactly.
which brings us back to, assets versus liabilities.
Yes, always.
Right.
Kiyosaki urges us to, think differently about those terms. For instance, he challenges the traditional view of homeownership.
Okay.
He says, sure, a house can be an asset, but
Okay.
if it's draining your cash flow every month
Yeah.
with mortgage payments, upkeep, it's acting more like a liability.
It's almost like he's saying, don't let your possessions possess you,
Yeah, right.
which is a pretty radical idea for a lot of
Right.
people. It is.
Especially, in a culture where we're constantly bombarded with messages about buying bigger and better things.
Absolutely. Kiyosaki wants us to break free from that consumerist mindset and start thinking like investors,
Okay.
you know.
To see opportunity where others see expenses.
Exactly.
And he uses that great example of Ray Kroc, the McDonald's guy, to illustrate this.
Yeah, he did.
Kroc wasn't just building a fast food empire. He was strategically acquiring the land underneath those restaurants.
Right. He understood that real estate
Yeah.
was a key asset that would appreciate over time.
So he was playing a long game.
Yes, he was. And that's a crucial lesson that Kiyosaki wants to impart.
Okay.
To think beyond immediate gratification
Right.
and build a financial foundation that can sustain you in the long run.
So it's not about getting rich quick.
Yeah.
It's about building wealth strategically and sustainably.
Exactly.
But I imagine that takes a lot of courage, especially when you're first starting out. It does. There's always that fear of making a mistake, of losing money.
And Kiyosaki acknowledges that fear.
Right.
He talks about how fear, particularly the fear of losing money, can be paralyzing.
Yeah.
It can prevent people from taking the very actions that could lead them to financial freedom.
And he actually uses the analogy of the Alamo, which I thought was so powerful.
Yeah, it is.
He's not saying that we all need to go down in a blaze of glory or anything.
Right.
But rather that sometimes we have to be willing to take a stand even if it means facing potential losses.
Yes. And Kiyosaki doesn't shy away from the fact that losing money is part of the process.
Right.
He even talks about how he's made mistakes, lost money,
Hmm.
but used those experiences as learning opportunities.
Yeah.
He sees failure not as the end, but as a stepping stone on the path to success.
It's like he's saying, don't be afraid to swing the bat. You can't hit a home run if you're too scared to step up to the plate.
Exactly. And that's where financial literacy becomes so important.
Okay.
Kiyosaki believes that the more we understand about money, the more empowered we are to make informed decisions and manage those risks.
So financial literacy is like our armor in this financial battlefield.
Precisely. It equips us with the knowledge and tools to navigate the complexities of the financial world.
Right.
And Kiyosaki is very critical of traditional education systems for not adequately preparing people in this area.
Yeah, I remember him saying that.
He argues that schools should focus more on teaching practical financial skills, like understanding how to read financial statements,
Okay.
invest wisely, build businesses.
So it's like he's saying, don't wait for someone else to teach you these things. Take ownership of your financial education.
Yeah, but where do we even begin?
Right.
There's so much information out there. It can be overwhelming.
It really can.
Kiyosaki offers several suggestions.
Okay.
First, he emphasizes the importance of finding mentors,
Okay.
people who are already successful in the areas you want to learn about.
So it's about surrounding yourself with people who can guide you and share their wisdom.
Exactly. He also talks about the importance of continuous learning, of reading books, attending seminars, and constantly seeking out new knowledge.
So it's not just about passively absorbing information, it's about taking action, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kiyosaki is a big believer in taking action, even if it's just small steps at first.
Right.
He says, don't wait for the perfect opportunity, create it.
And I remember him saying, make lots of offers.
Yes.
Like, if you're interested in buying a property, don't be afraid to put in an offer, even if it's lower than the asking price.
Right.
You never know what the seller might accept.
Exactly. And on that note, he also advises paying your brokers well.
Okay.
He believes that having expert advisors, whether it's a real estate agent, a financial advisor, an attorney, can save you time, money, and headaches in the long run.
So it's about investing in the right people to help you navigate the complexities of the financial world. It's like assembling a team of experts to support your journey.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. There will be ups, downs, wins, and losses along the way. But the key is to keep learning, keep growing, and keep taking action.
It sounds like Kiyosaki is really emphasizing the importance of mindset as well.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about the technical skills.
Right.
It's about developing that mental fortitude to overcome those limiting beliefs and fears that hold us back.
Yeah, he talks about how fear and greed are the two emotions that keep people trapped in the rat race.
Okay.
He uses the analogy of a donkey chasing a carrot.
Oh.
The carrot represents that illusion of financial security
Yeah.
that keeps people working hard without ever really questioning the system they're in.
So we need to break free from that carrot-chasing mentality.
Yes, we do.
And start creating our own paths to financial freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that starts with finding your own why,
Okay.
your personal reason for wanting to achieve financial independence. Having a strong purpose will fuel your actions and help you stay committed when things get tough.
That's such a crucial point. It's not just about accumulating wealth for wealth's sake.
Right. It's about having a clear vision for what that wealth will enable you to do, to create, to experience.
Yeah, and to share with others.
Oh, yeah.
Kiyosaki also emphasizes the importance of giving back.
Okay.
He believes that generosity is a key ingredient in wealth building,
Interesting.
and that the more you give, the more you'll receive.
He talks about how his rich dad always tithed and donated to charity, even when he was just starting out.
He did, yeah.
It's almost like he saw it as an investment in his own future prosperity.
Exactly. He believed that generosity creates a flow of abundance that comes back to you in unexpected ways.
It's like what you were saying earlier, about that leaky bucket.
Yeah.
But instead of fixing the leaks, you're actually expanding the bucket itself.
Right, exactly. And I think Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it really challenges us to, rethink our relationship with money. To see it not as something to be feared or hoarded, but as a tool that can be used to create a better life for ourselves and for others.
It's about shifting our mindset from scarcity to abundance.
From competition to collaboration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I find so inspiring about Kiyosaki's message. He doesn't just offer practical advice on how to make money.
Right.
He also encourages us to think about the bigger picture,
Okay.
to consider our values, our purpose, and how we can use our financial resources to make a positive impact.
Right. It's almost like he's saying, don't just build wealth, build a legacy.
Yes.
And that legacy doesn't have to be about, huge sums of money or flashy possessions.
No.
It can be about creating something meaningful, something that makes a difference in the lives of others.
Absolutely. It could be starting a business that provides jobs and opportunities for your community.
Right.
It could be supporting a cause that you're passionate about. It could be simply teaching your children about financial literacy,
Yeah.
empowering them to create their own paths to success.
So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's not just a financial guidebook.
Yeah.
It's a roadmap for creating a life of purpose and fulfillment.
Yeah, and one of the key takeaways is that financial freedom is within reach for anyone
Right.
who is willing to challenge conventional thinking, take ownership of their financial education, and take action.
It's about waking up to the possibilities and realizing that we have more control over our financial destinies than we might think.
Exactly. And that's why this book continues to resonate with readers, decades after it was first published.
Right.
The world has changed a lot, but those fundamental principles of building wealth and achieving financial freedom,
Yeah.
they still apply.
They do. So even if you've read this book before, it's worth revisiting with fresh eyes.
It is.
There's always something new to learn and apply to your own financial journey.
Absolutely. And if you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend adding it to your list. It's a book that can truly change your perspective on money and empower you to take control of your financial future.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. We explored those contrasting philosophies of rich dad and poor dad, the importance of building assets, overcoming fear, and taking ownership of our financial education. But most importantly, we touched upon the idea that true wealth is about more than just money. It's about creating a life of purpose, abundance, and generosity.
Exactly. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a call to action to become financially educated and empowered. It's a reminder that we all have the potential to achieve financial freedom and create a better future for ourselves and for generations to come.
So for those of you listening out there, if you had to start minding your own business today, what one small step could you take to build your asset column? Maybe it's picking up a book on investing, taking a financial literacy course, or even just having a conversation with someone you admire about their financial journey. The point is, start somewhere. Take action. Awaken your financial genius.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. There will be bumps along the way. But with persistence and a willingness to learn, you can achieve the financial freedom you desire.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We hope you surfaced with some valuable insights and a renewed sense of possibility when it comes to your own financial journey.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Did you get any of that?